Agritourism.
I didn't. You know what I mean? When you mentioned that to me, I'm not even going to say that word on TV, just so I don't say it wrong. Right.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And what is that?
So agritourism is the blending of tourism and just having the public involved with your enterprise, and then the component of agriculture, so farming. Okay. And so giving the public the opportunity to come and firsthand experience what a farm is all about. And so would you like me to tell you a little bit about the farm?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. Well, we have a very interesting guest today, and I met her through a mutual friend, and I just had to have her on my show. But her name is Nicole Zaagman, and she is the owner of Parkside Farm, and she went from a business coach to owning this farm, which has pygmy goats on it, and it's connecting the public to come to the farm and for children to get introduced to farm animals, experiencing farm. Families can come, and it's a great way to get back to nature, take nature walks. There's flowers, this beautiful farm, and it's located very close to here in Byron Center. So she is here to have a great conversation and tell us all about Parkside Farm. Thank you for being here, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Pamela. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
All right, so I know a lot about you because there are quite a lot of information on this, and I was kind of like, I've not known anything about it, but I did grow up in places where, you know, my parents took us to places to touch animals, to get experience, because I was a city girl in Wyoming. But you go from, going and working with horses, and then you go be a business coach, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I want to get back to your roots?
My roots, for sure.
All right, so tell us all about Nicole and why you got into pygmy goats?
Yes.
Okay.
So pygmy goats are one of the smallest breeds of domesticated goat here in the United States. I actually grew up in 4-H and showed them along with horses and chickens and rabbits, but I was really passionate about the pygmy goat. There's just something fun, lovable, adorable about them. And so after 11 years of not having them, in 2021, I wanted to have them again. So I went to some different breeders across the country and brought some in from Colorado and California, Indiana, and Ohio. There's not very many breeders here in Michigan.
Okay, so we're not known for the pygmy goats.
Yes, they used to be a lot more prevalent, and then over time they kind of vacated the state. So I've been working to sort of bring them back in popularity and educate the public about them. But you mentioned a few things about my background. I have an art degree, and I use that all the time with my business, and then I did some coaching and public speaking. But I really wanted to get back to my roots, which is what you mentioned. I grew up on that small farm, was really involved in 4-H. I thrived in that atmosphere, and I really needed that for myself. And as I started to grow the farm, I started to notice the joy that these goats brought to people of all different backgrounds and ages. And I decided to get into what I didn't know what it was called. It's called agritourism. Agritourism.
I didn't. You know what I mean? When you mentioned that to me, I'm not even going to say that word on TV, just so I don't say it wrong. Right. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. And what is that?
So agritourism is the blending of tourism and just having the public involved with your enterprise, and then the component of agriculture, so farming. Okay. And so giving the public the opportunity to come and firsthand experience what a farm is all about. And so would you like me to tell you a little bit about the farm?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So we have the pygmy goats. I started a program called the Jump for Joy program, which travels the state of Michigan. We go to all kinds of events, birthday parties, corporate festivals, community festivals, senior centers, libraries, and schools. So I published a couple of children's books, which we can talk about in a few minutes, but I incorporate those a lot in story time readings, and then we do some education with the goats, and then there's always a hands-on component where patrons get to come up and pet them, learn about them, touch them, feed them, take pictures with them.
How big is the farm?
The farm itself is 8 acres, so it's small, but we are mighty. We do a lot with what we have there. We tap about 100 maple trees every spring for maple syrup. And then we also tap some black walnut trees. If you didn't know, you can make syrup out of black walnut trees
I did not know that.
Yes. So we grow some cut flowers as well. These are from the farm. Some
they're beautiful, and I did see that you put out some videos that talk about that. And that's the syrup right there
syrup
that you can
here.
buy.
Our little market has little goat's milk products as well, so lotions and soaps. We grow usually pumpkins. We had corn this year as well. We create different little home decor pieces, like from the walnut wood that we harvest. I make little home decor signs and things like that.
So do you have like a little store?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
There's a little seasonal farm market that's open May through November typically, and then the hours vary during the different times of the year.
So how many? Can you share with me what is the difference? I'm not trying to be them, but the goat, the pygmy goat, as your average goat that you might see in a field. I mean, you know, they are on TV. What is the difference?
The difference, yes, great question. So I'll just hold up this little book here. So this is Stella Bella's Pygmy Goat Miracles.
Okay, and that's your first. Was that your first?
This is the second book, actually. So Samson the baby pygmy goat is the first one. He was the first baby that we had born at the farm. Oh. And yes,
really, that's
so
actually
cute. So he was about just a little over 3 pounds. So your average goat, I would say, is probably between 70 and 100 pounds.
Well, that's pretty big,
so
right?
depending on whether you have like a meat breed or a milk breed. The pygmy goat came from West Africa around the 1950s to America and primarily served petting zoo purposes at the zoos.
Okay.
And then they slowly started to make their way to the general public as breeding programs began to develop. And they were originally a meat breed, but they're a really great pet. They're very social, they're very sweet. And the adults get about between 45 to, I'd say, 60 pounds is one of our largest ones.
You had one as a child?
I bred and raised them as a child. I fell in love with them, and I actually also trained them to pull me in a little cart, so they're very strong despite their very small size. So twins are common for them when they have the babies. Their gestation, so any goat, depending on the breed, is always around 5 months, 145 to 155 days. But the twins here were about 2.5 pounds when they're born, so they're pretty small.
How many goats do you have on the farm now?
We have 14 in total right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be my experience if I wanted to bring my family or my group of school children, right?
Yep.
Or a daycare, a homeschool would be wonderful. All right, and we were just talking, we were both on part of the YMCA on the board, and you just said that they just did a trip.
We just had a group from there.
From the YMCA came out with their little ones, right?
They were actually a little bit older, yeah.
They were
like
what?
Middle school.
Middle school
age, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move them up here.
Yeah.
And, okay, so what would, you pull in, I mean, is it a long drive from the road? What is it, what are we, because you're going to send me a little video we're going to add to this interview so you can get kind of a scenery, a little bit of a visual of what your farm is. So how far back are you from the road? What would I experience?
Yeah, so we are just outside of Grand Rapids, about 15 minutes south of downtown Grand Rapids. You just hop on 131 and go south and get off at the 100th Street exit. That's the simplest way to get there.
Okay.
And you would turn left at that exit and then turn left onto South Division. So we're really close to 100th Street on South Division.
Okay.
So when you arrive, so what we do is we've got classes and tours is primarily what we offer for families and the school groups that come for field trips.
How long is an experience? If I came, it's a 2-hour or
yeah, it depends. It depends on your group size. So say you were like a family of 5, that's typically between 45 minutes to an hour. We can do up to 60 for our larger field trips. We split the groups. Some start out with me in the presentation where we show slides of the different things and processes that we do to produce our commodities at the farm, like the maple syrup, and we have honeybee hives. And then the other half of that larger group will start off on the walking tour to actually go see where everything is on the farm. But that is typically could be up to like an hour and a half to 2 hours for the larger group.
All right, and so you go through and you're walking through like a path, and then you go around, and it's kind of, you have places where they stop and experience the goats.
Yep.
Are they in a big pasture where they are all, you know, kind of in different locations?
So we have all of our goats live actually in the goat garage. It's an attached garage on the house that we live in. It's very convenient in the wintertime, and especially if I have to bottle feed babies in the middle of the night.
Oh, you have to make sure they get fed?
Sometimes, yeah. So if maybe say a mama rejects a baby or mom's not feeling well, I'll become mom and kind of step in and help. But it's very rare that I have to do that.
All right.
But the farm itself has a portion of the walking tour is on a crushed asphalt walkway. It's actually a driveway that covers most of the farm.
Right.
And then there's other walking paths like through the main maple tree grove. You get to go right through that and see all the trees that are tapped to make the maple syrup. We've got different crops kind of scattered around the 8 acres, from the flowers to the pumpkins. We do even have some Concord grapes that grow, so you get to see those. There's over 150 years of history just within the property that we own with the farm, and so we always like to incorporate that. It dates back just after the Civil War, so we like to incorporate all that fun history
Oh my
with the kids
goodness,
that
I had
come.
no idea.
Yeah.
So what is it? So what has it been an experience of the kids coming and their interaction with, you know, a
animal,
goat,
yeah.
especially a goat that goats you don't see. Yeah, you see them on TV
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. Maybe they've saw them in cartoons, but it's not like you run across a goat every day like you would drive by and see cows and horses.
Yep.
What is that like for the?
It is so much fun. Just depending on the group that comes, sometimes we've got kids that are a little more familiar with farming and agriculture, but sometimes we get those groups that have never seen a goat ever before, or a chicken, and maybe they don't know like where eggs come from, like for their breakfast for scrambled eggs. So my favorite groups are the ones that come in that maybe don't have any of that knowledge or education, and maybe they're timid or afraid when they come to the farm, but by the time they leave, they're feeding the goats snacks. Sometimes they get the opportunity to groom them and brush them. They are asking to hold a chicken. They are not afraid of bugs anymore, but they're out in the flower crops and like cutting their own sunflowers.
Exactly.
It's really cool to see that transformation take place.
And you did mention bees.
Yes.
I did see a video that you began to when you learned that the bees were in trouble. We weren't getting enough of them, or they were, I don't know what the situation. Maybe they were dying off. Was it what happened?
There are so many different things that influence the pollinator community.
Okay.
So, and pollinators extend far beyond just bees and honeybees. So there are native bees as well that are native and natural to our habitats, and those are almost more in danger than the honeybees that we bring in.
Due to disease or what?
It can be a disease. There's certainly diseases that bees can get, also varying climates. So say, you know, they need water as well. So if there's drought or the temperature is too cold or too hot, if they have like predators that are coming after them, sometimes I'd say even pesticide influence.
What's a predator of a bee?
I'd say like any winged, a larger insect, or like
okay.
birds or things like that. Or I was going to say pesticide use, humans
Right.
influencing nature to, whether it's like just, spraying your grass
Was it
or your
difficult
lawn.
to do?
The honeybees?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is our second year having the honeybees. Last year was not good for a lot of beekeepers. A lot of beekeepers ended up losing their hives. But this year seems to be going a little bit better. So
Is it due to the hot weather?
So last year there was a lot of mite problems, and
I
so
see.
you have to treat for those, and sometimes the treatment can be helpful or harmful. You have to do it under very specific conditions. So
You enjoy that? Is it? I know. I'm sure the children can't go up to that close of the bee, so they're in a distance.
Yes.
Way. Okay.
Yeah, we do let them kind of see the general area. We do 2 free public events every year. So the spring event, and then we have a fall festival where we bring in my bee mentor. Her name is Miss Darcy. She does a really great job where the families can get even closer and shows them all the different bee equipment and things that we use in their care, because bees are also considered a livestock animal for farmers.
Oh, I guess that would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
on that one. Okay. And so you do that twice a year, so the kids
Yes.
can experience.
The in-depth honeybee demonstration, yes. But
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
the typical animal classes and tours, they always get the goat experience where they learn about them, they learn about their care, what they eat, they get to feed them, pet them.
Well, I mean, I love bees until they're close. You know, I
Yes.
understand that we need them, but when they get close, I'm like, oh my God, bzzz, that sound just.
It is, yeah. It can be, I would say, like a phobia for some people, but honeybees by nature are not naturally aggressive. So typically they're only going to come towards you if they feel like you're threatening their
threatening them.
hive.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so you did that and you started the farm, and that started in what, 2000?
2021. I soft launched the farm in 2022. I felt my faith is very important to me. I felt the Lord was directing me to do this. I was like, a farm? Like, like what do you
Well,
mean?
you were saying that in many
Yeah.
of your videos. You might check them out. They're all over YouTube. They get a better feel who you are and why you started this. But you were just talking about the struggles, and you did have a lot of struggles
have a
at
lot of
first. Could you just
struggles.
share a little bit what
I'll
that
touch
was?
on, yeah, I can touch on those. So we soft launched the farm in 2022. 2023, we had some things that we had to work out with our local authorities to continue operating the farm. Thankfully, they were gracious in working with us, and we got all those ironed out. We also started our breeding program for the Pygmy goats, and I had, mind you, years and years of experience working with them, breeding them, but I had never had any kidding, which is like their delivery when they have the babies. Any kidding
Do you have to
complications?
assist them?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, every delivery. And so our first 3 kiddings, when the babies were born, we ended up with 3 emergency C-sections, and I've assisted on all
that
of those.
common?
I didn't know that it was common. It's not common to have that many in a row.
Okay.
So Samson was the first, and I believe that he and his mom are alive due to the power of prayer.
Okay.
We had people all over the world. When I realized things were not going according to how I had hoped, people got online and were praying. So he was delivered safely. His mom made a full recovery. And then, so we had the 2 following C-sections. We ended up, which is just a part of farm life, we lost the last little baby, which was pretty sad. Animals grieve too, just like humans do.
I would imagine. Well, I guess I can imagine.
Yeah,
that
so her
happening.
mama was, yeah, she went
So
through
is that
a
why
grieving
you did
process.
the first book dedicated to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Samson was the first, and then we had Samuel. He was born, he was, actually he's Samson's half-brother, and he was a C-section baby. Then Marshmallow had her baby. We ended up losing her. We lost a yearling doe in our breeding program unexpectedly, and I only had Stella left to breed, and she would not get pregnant. So 10 months of goat infertility, if you will, and finally, I'll show you in the book here.
And you do all the do you do all the illustrations
of
of the book?
My art degree has come in very handy.
So these are all yours.
Yes. So we do
Wow, you're very-
ultrasounds on the goats just like a human. But I finally laid my hands on her belly and prayed over her. And the next month we did an ultrasound and she was pregnant with twins. So that's why I call them her little miracles. And she has kidded 2 sets of twins now, pretty much completely unassisted. So that
But
was
it's very. But most of them do just have twins, right? That is
yes, they can have, we like them to have twins. The babies are smaller, they're easier to get out. When they're singles like Samson was, they tend to grow a little bit too big and are more difficult to get out.
Okay.
But they can have triplets and quads. And I've even had breeder friends that have had 5, which is a lot for a pygmy goat because they're so small.
Well, you're in this farm, and so you have this. You know, is it hard to come up with a story? I mean, it's for children. I mean, the illustration is absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And you did a wonderful job. You guys all check it out. But this is like your you know, for kids to, you know, animals have a way of connecting with children, even
Yes,
adults.
Even adults, yeah.
On that one. But these pictures are just amazing. So I guess your art did pay off on that one.
It did.
How long does it take you to put a book together?
Yeah,
for-
so these are just a little bit different. So I had a photography studio with my mom, my mother, many years ago in downtown Grand Rapids. So these are actually photo illustrations. So they're all photos that I've taken and then manipulated them to look like illustrations.
I see.
Some
Okay.
of my coaching clients I've worked with to help publish their books. If you're working with a traditional illustrator, it's going to take a lot longer. So typically a fully illustrated book by hand would probably take up to 2 years to produce. These, because of my background and experience, I'm able to do the layout, the illustrations, the writing. So from start to finish, this is a couple-month process for me.
What is your biggest struggle in owning a farm?
Yeah.
And being at is it weather, or what is your biggest struggle you feel like, you know?
That's a great question. Yeah. Depending on the year, each year is a little bit different, but you can have challenges like weather. I'll touch on something that maybe we didn't plan to talk about, but farming has one of the highest suicide rates of any industry in America, because it's a high-risk industry. You're putting a lot in up front with no guarantees at the end of the year if you're going to break even or make a profit.
Yeah, you have to
all.
almost put a seed in and just
Yes, and pray. Yeah.
You can do all you can, but we all know that whether just doing our home, my farm did not, my little garden didn't work out that well this year because of the heat and whatever. But I can understand. I can understand that. I can understand where you're so relying on that.
You're relying on the weather, even the seed that you put in the ground. Hopefully, it's a quality seed. The rain, like this year in Michigan, we've had drought-like conditions. The heat has been too hot. I think for me this year, I would say juggling everything and just finding a balance between the work, the farm life and work, and like just taking time off. There's always something to do.
There's always something to do, and everybody said it's a 7-day, 24-hour. You never know. I totally have been around farmers that have said that. They're like, yeah, it can be hard.
Yep.
Especially when you want to do something. All right, so you have, and also you turned it into a kind of like I don't know if it's a bed and breakfast. What would you call that? You have other homes on the property where people can actually stay for a week, 5 days. What does the average person come and stay? 3 days, a weekend?
Usually about 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So we do currently at this time have a 100-year-old farmhouse that we use for farm stays where families can come in and stay. We're in the process of transitioning it into some midterm rentals, so hopefully families can come in and stay for longer periods of time. But we've hosted people as far away from Singapore, Canada. This is our 4th year doing the rental, and it's been a joy to see all the different families and kids that have come to the farm that maybe wouldn't have had the experience being on that farm.
Exactly. All right, you have something coming up in October, right? Let's talk about that.
Sure. So we do have a great event coming up in October. October 25th is our annual Fall Harvest Festival. It's a completely free to the public event. All we ask is that families go online to our website and sign up so that we can plan for parking and snacks. We will be doing hay rides, tours, you can meet the goats. If you'd like to purchase a pumpkin at the market, we'll have that, and also a couple other local artisan vendors with items for purchase, but all the activities for your kids are completely free.
So it's just open to the general public, so you can come and experience what goes on in Parkside, which is a lot going on. You're an author, you got these little gifts.
Storybook. These are storybook plushies, so we have lots of farm cats that live at the farm.
And kids can come and do art, color.
So this is colored by one of the kids that has come to the farm. So I spent a couple years doing volunteerism and art therapy as well, and wanted to incorporate that into the farm and the program, and so we do, and the kids have a ton of fun with it.
And you mentioned already the syrup, and you have the soap, and can they get some of these products online?
Yes,
you have a store online?
We have a store online. You can always place an order online for like curbside pickup, and I can get the order ready for you, or you can come and shop the farm in person and pick up products.
And these flowers are absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I can't imagine what your garden looks like compared to mine, I would have to say. And of course the books and everything on that one. And so how far advanced would they have to get in for maybe their school, their homeschool? Maybe they got a group of homeschool kids that want to do an activity. And are you open only till what, October? What's your hours?
So weather pending, I hope to be open till November 1st.
Okay.
We start scheduling tours. We're actually working towards scheduling our spring tours, which start in March of 2026. As far as advance notice, I typically am not able to do like same day tours if you called and tried to get in same day. Yeah, we get that a lot too.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Usually a week in advance is really ideal so that I can prep and get everything solidified and ready for you, but we can take a few months in advance as well.
Well, that's great. So you're already planning for the spring.
Yes.
So all you people out there that are thinking you're way ahead, but you're going to end probably in the middle of November, probably before Thanksgiving. You're going to be, of course, depending on the weather.
The weather, yeah.
I'm a
Michigan weather
golfer,
is so
and
unpredictable.
our golf course will stay open until the middle of November, or it shuts down right around Halloween because it's so wet.
Yep.
On that one, and then you just close up, and then you just plan for the next year, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's really. And now, can people still stay at the place, or only
yeah, so
during
the rental
working?
is year round. Yeah,
Okay.
dependent on availability.
Well, that is cool. Is there anything else that we didn't cover today that that you would like to share with the audience?
I think I would just like to leave you with a little phrase that I share with everyone, which is always remember to spread joy. I think this world can be harsh and cruel sometimes, and a little kindness goes a long way, and we can just think about and remember the goats. They have no real cares in the world, and they love to hop and jump around and spread that joy to everyone they meet, and so that's what I always encourage all the families and kids to do.
Well, and I will have to say that going onto a farm, you're so close to nature. We've been so removed from it, and even though we walk outside and stuff, but actually being in the nature and the animals, they don't know. They're so good with kids, even with people. Yep. And I don't know why. I think people just melt around, and it's just, it's very much a stress release. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
It relieves
it's
them.
It's a stress relief for me, for sure. Yeah.
And it's be good for kids. Get back to nature, find out what it's all about. These pygmy goats are so cute. And I'm going to have to be out there, but we'll be getting out there and get some content. But we'd be... so how can people reach you to learn more about where to find you?
So if you'd like to learn more about Parkside Farm, you can visit our website at www.parkside.farm. You can always reach me at my telephone number as well with a phone call or a text. It is 616-201-0220.
All right, and when is that event again?
So the Fall Harvest Festival is coming up on Saturday, October 25th. Go online to our website and sign up your family. So again, we can plan for parking and snacks. There is a 1 to 3 p.m. time slot or a 3 to 5 p.m. time slot that you can sign your family up for.
They're gonna have pumpkins and stuff?
Yes, we'll have pumpkins and hopefully corn stalks and all the fall themed
that's always
things.
So cool. Yeah. So go there, bring your kids. It'll be a great experience. It'll get pictures, and it'd be something to look back on and say, yes, I remember when I was on that.
Absolutely.
All right. So this is, we want to thank Nicole for being here, Zaagman for being here. And I appreciate you sharing the Parkside Farm. Looking forward to learning more about that and sharing it with friends. So this is Pamela Kime from Grandville Media. We'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone.